Hi, this is Michael Orl from MobileBurn.com, and today I have with me the LG Quantum for AT&T. It's a Windows Phone 7 device. It's also known as the Optimus 7Q in other parts of the world. It's available from AT&T for $199 on a 2-year contract. So here's the Quantum. We'll open it up. You can see the 4-row QWERTY keyboard. Also the 3.5-inch wide VGA display lights up. That's 480 by 800 pixels. But let's take a look at the rest of the hardware before we get into that. Covered micro USB port here, power button up top, 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right hand edge we've got volume control and camera shutter button, and then there's the microphone pinhole at the bottom. Metal battery cover, 5 megapixel camera with an LED flash, and there's the speaker grill down here at the bottom. Open this up again, take a look at the keyboard. As I mentioned, there's 4 rows. The odd thing, though, is the shift and function buttons are separate little buttons here on the left-hand side, and shift is really in an awkward position if you're typing here to press all the way up there. These buttons are already small, but the shift being up there is just really kind of weird. It should be down further into this position. Otherwise, the keys have a very nice feel. Quite pleased with their input ability. Good tactile feedback, not too high, but a little bit of doming on, really quite nice. There's the main display, of course, nice and bright, capable of showing 16 million colors. Touch-sensitive buttons for back and search, but a hardware button for the start button. And you can see speaker up here and proximity sensors, light sensors up there as well. I popped off the battery cover so you can see the battery itself. It's a 1500 milliamp hour unit. It's good for 6 hours of talk time or a little over 14.5 days of standby time according to AT&T. The Quantum weighs about 186 grams, so it's a pretty hefty device, and as you can see it's 15.5 millimeters thick, which is also pretty thick. I happen to have a LG Optimus 7 here, which is the non-keyboard version of this device, and you can see the Quantum is significantly thicker. Windows Phone 7 as a whole has a problem with lack of landscape support. And while that's not a big problem on most of the other devices, the fact that the Quantum has a keyboard and the start screen and main menu still don't work in landscape mode is quite a problem. It's just really awkward. There are going to be times when you're going to be forced to flip the device into portrait mode even though the keyboard's out. Really just doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense, and I assume Microsoft's going to have to fix that eventually. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through all the ins and outs of the Windows Phone 7 system. We covered that much better in the Samsung Focus review, so I'd recommend you take a look at that review if you haven't already. But I can tell you that we can easily take things out of, say, contacts or whatever and long press them and pin them as tiles on the start screen. Applications from the main menu. Let's see, pick something different here like maps. All these things can be pinned as tiles. So you can see there's the contact I just added, maps. And you also notice that they're live and animated. You can see things flipping around here, which is pretty cool. Play2 right here is LG's DLNA client, so you can use this to send pictures or video to DLNA compatible devices, be they televisions, other computers, whatever. It's pretty cool. Go through the default start screen. That is the phone application for dialing. Also shows calls history and quick access to the people application, which is your contacts. You can end up having a pretty long scrolling list here, but if you tap on one of the letters, it'll let you quickly jump to matching contacts, which is pretty cool. Press the start button to go back to the start screen. You can see on the tile for messaging, I have one new message. Tap here and we'll see there's the message. Notice there is landscape support here, thankfully. Colored bubbles, unfortunately uses the same color for both sides of the conversation. Double space to quickly add a full stop period. I'll just send that off. If you want to attach things like photos, you can easily do so. But notice the lack of landscape support here. Press here and I'm going to launch the camera. take a new picture. Use that in the message. And then I can put a caption here. Now I don't like the position of the shift and function buttons here, but I really like the feel and action of the keyboard otherwise. You might have noticed that the status line up at the top of the screen is pretty blank, just showing the time, but if you tap on it, it'll actually give you other information like signal strength and Wi-Fi connections and battery and stuff, and that's because it actually overlays and the data on the applications makes use of the full screen, so it tries to keep that clear for you. You'll notice that the Google Mail tile right here says I have 115 unread messages. It's because I just set up the account. If you use Gmail or Exchange for your email, the device will pull down not only email but contacts and calendar appointments as well. So the contacts you saw already were actually from a Gmail account. Very nice looking client. Not a whole lot of messages show on the screen at once. Landscape mode works, thankfully. Pull up one of the messages that shows some formatted text. So we've got multi-touch zooming here, but it doesn't reflow the text, so you can't actually read it all at that point. Tap on the attachment to start downloading it. It's already done. We're on a Wi-Fi connection. I'll pull up the viewer right now. So this is the mobile office system, and one of the things I really like is this feature here. It allows you to jump from heading to heading automatically without doing anything special inside the document. In general, I really like the Mail client, though. It's quite good looking and can easily pan back and forth between different views. I'll send a quick reply here. Thanks for the attachment, and quickly send that off. And you can see right here that it shows that there was an attachment and that I've replied to it. You'll notice right here there's an AT&T UVerse mobile tile. AT&T is pushing that service. If I long press it though, I can easily unpin it, add other things. And one of the cool things with Windows Phone 7 is you can delete any application, whether the carrier or the manufacturer installed it. So I can just as easily uninstall that application since it's won't work in my area. And now it's gone. If you do a full factory reset though, the application will come back. Pull up the web browser. This is the mobile version of mobileburn.com. Obviously works in landscape and portrait modes. Again, multi-touch zooming, but text doesn't reflow, so it's not always that much use. If I go down here, I'll find the link for the full website. One of the neat things is page is totally interactive even while it's still loading, so all the stuff's going on in the background, loading the page, rendering stuff, and I can still use it. In addition to multi-touch zooming though, you have double tap zooming, which is pretty cool. And again, of course, portrait mode or landscape mode. You'll notice that there's no way to get to your favorites and things like that from landscape mode. You have to go into portrait mode in order to get access to those buttons down at the bottom of the screen. This one here is for adding a new favorite. One in the center gives you access to your favorites. There's support for multiple windows though.